Before we move to the better esports topics that are not to do with this, there's one last connection I want to ask, which is, again, just about the state of the industry in journalism, which is, without going into specifics now, because let's face it, like, I mean, this will still be relevant as a cycle in a few years from now, and it's just that you'll just take the names and then it's like fucking Mad Libs, just put a different name in there, it'll be the same cunt. Basically, yet again, we have seen the cycle repeat where every 2 to 3 years, someone gets some venture capital money and they think, why don't I make the ESPN of esports? Even fucking ESPN did it and then failed. And then when they do it, half the reason they fail, just my own opinion here, is because half the time they get people who, if they are the best, they're the best, but they are people who have to work for sites. They're kind of like us back in the day when we didn't have a brand. Like, yeah, they've got the top job, but the problem is they can't necessarily drive ultimate views. Like, they still need the site to drive the views, which is going to be a problem. Or the people they hire to fill out the lower level positions, because if people don't know, those sites run just like any TO broadcast in CSGO. You don't just have only tier 1 people hired because they don't want to spend all that money. You hire a couple of tier 1, you hire a couple of tier 2, and then you get some bastard who thinks he's tier 2 to get half the money and he fills the last spot, and that's the guy who basically is just happy to be there. So similarly, half the people I was referring to earlier, the lower level people who are the grifters, they're always on these sites. They're always, again, a contributing editor, or they get to do like a mild features piece where their editor just tells them the puff piece to go and do on this person from an org, right? In these scenarios, I know you must have so many naive fans who say to you, Richard, why don't you go and work for ESPN or this new site in this case? Oh, what if you had their job? Or sadly, those sites will even cynically be like, who would you like to see work? And then, me and you'll get tagged, and they'll tag like Monty or someone who doesn't even write, like they'll just tag their favourites, right? In this scenario, what are your thoughts on those as like sites, what the purpose they serve in the industry? Are they a negative in the fact that they tend to flame out? Do you have any theories as to why they never work?
It's very simple. I mean, if someone gives me 5 million, I'll fucking build you a site. We'll be turning a profit probably by year 2. Like, I'll tell you why. Because content has to have value. This is what these morons don't get. Content for content's sake is pointless because they think about it as, oh, we're going to build an audience and the audience is going to come here to read our stories on our site. Bollocks. First, being first is super important, but forget that for a second. What these people never understand is when you create any form of content, you are going up against every other form of content that exists.
Yes.
You are going
including
up
outside
movies.
Esports. Yeah, everything.
You are going up against books. You are going up against sporting events. You are going up against social events. You are going up against happenings, live streams, video games, time with a good book. So my content has to have real value to the people that are going to make time for it, because I'm going up against the entire field of human creation. Somebody...
Sounds epic when you say it like that, by the way.
It's completely true.
It's true, but it just sounds epic. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. These people with no significant followings are producing content that isn't even unique in any way, shape, or form. This player tweeted this. This player replied with this. I read the tweets, motherfucker. Why do I need to read you rewriting it? And they're paying these people, $80,000 to do this shit. None of them capable of breaking a story. None of them capable of building an audience and holding an opinion. Why? Because opinions are only interesting if they're slightly against the grain. No one gives a fuck about consensus. And these are the most vanilla milquetoast cowards. Never held a contrary opinion in their life. What is the narrative? That is what we will repeat. Nobody wants that. Even on the level where people are outrage baiting pussies, right? What they're really doing is, everyone wants to read the outrageous opinion. It's why the hate click model fucking works so much. It's why these journalists do that. They just get somebody to say, that thing you love? Yeah, it's for Nazis, innit? And then all the people who go over there and go, but I'm not a Nazi, did it? And they go, it worked again. And that's the end of it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's such a, nonsensical model, but it does work. And it's not the only thing left in digital media that does work.
Yes.
These people in esports don't even have the fucking balls for that. They don't even have the balls for that. And people are, by the way, getting increasingly sick of the fucking hate click model to the point where I don't think that's even viable inside of 2 years. So have the balls to have a real informed opinion and present it to people in a way that can maybe sway them or certainly at least entertain them in the way that you present it. None of these people are capable of that. So you end up with journalism, which is just, I have to justify a salary. So I write 8 pointless articles a day of just, this person tweeted that, this person tweeted that, this website reported this. Why aren't you reporting this? Why can't you get there first? Oh, you don't have a source network. Oh, you've got no formal training. Oh, you don't even know where to look. Oh, you don't even know how to look up companies' house documents. It's a fucking embarrassment. So it's got nothing to do with like, oh, it's the business model isn't there. It's really hard to make money off content, mate. As I said, I'd take that 5 million, I'd turn it into fucking gold, and I'd build the bar stool of esports, not the ESPN, fucking bar stool, because they're the motherfuckers doing it right.
For sure.
You know, they're the ones who understand how to get you to click. Dave Portnoy's a fucking divisive figure, but as a media guy, he's fucking one of the most savvy operating in the space right now.
He's doing basically what they used to say about Larry Bird in basketball, where because Larry Bird was in theory a redneck because of where he came from in Louisiana, right? He would make it seem like he was just some idiot who was just lucky or whatever. He knew what he was baiting you in when he did that. Yeah. The idea was he was just giving off I'm just an idiot, and he was mad savvy. Same with the Dave Portnoy guy's the same guy, because he even like goes out of his way to make himself seem like just some bumbling idiot. Mate, he's hit too many fucking home runs now. It's not possible. He could be doing it by accident. I agree with you.
Yeah. So that's what you need to do. I mean, because then once you have interesting figures that people like and are charismatic and vibe with and can be publicly facing and even being a bit divisive, so you get the Howard Stern effect going on. All of a sudden, the content becomes more than esports. You know, Dave Portnoy rolling around New York eating pizza. What's that got to do with sports? It's kind of tangential. I suppose you might have ordered a pizza while you're watching a football game. You know, that might be part of your regular weekend ritual. He's going around New York and eating slices of pizza and then giving it a rating out of 10. Why do we watch that? We watch it because it's Dave Portnoy doing it.
Yes, exactly.
It, right? So the bottom line is, if you get the right people at an esports site, you don't even need to create esports content. Who wouldn't want to see, for example, you know, like you guys were doing over at Flashpoint, you know, when you're playing Among Us, like Thorin plays Among Us, people think you're fucking crazy, so they want to go and watch it, don't they? They want to see if you get a snap at somebody or, you know, whatever. So when you have the right figures, you can then create content that's compelling. And if content is compelling and people want to go and watch it, you can monetize it. You'll notice, by the way, Deserto, for all their ups and downs, and people said, why are you there? They're just clickbait. What are you doing? Right. Even these other websites that have gone out of business have said, we haven't had the growth of a Deserto. Yeah, like obviously those guys over there are doing something right. I wouldn't have joined if they weren't doing something right. I don't, you know, they don't like it when I say the publication I work for does indulge in clickbait, but I'm never going to lie. I'm never going to gaslight myself. You know, there's no paycheck in the world that'll get me to do that. But compared to these other sites, I mean, you know, they've got things that make you engage with the content.
Sure.
They've got multiple Twitter accounts, all with loads of followers. They're producing compelling video content. We're going to be building a studio, and there's going to be more video content. We're going to be doing documentaries with me. You know, like me actually scripting out and storyboarding esports documentaries, doing it the right way. It's going to be big. So these people hiring like, you know, bloody generic news writer 10, who like, what is your skill set? Well, if somebody else has written something before me, I can rewrite it in different words. Fuck you. You don't need a job. You know, you're a waste of everyone's time and money. Your job existing is what kills it for the other people that actually produce something of value. And these websites don't realize that. They think you have to report on everything that's happening. Well, no, it's an utter waste of time. That model does not work, has not worked for years, and it's why these sites keep going out of business. It's why this next one that's come rolling along will go the same way the dinosaur, you know, upcomer or whatever it's called. I'll just say it now. I've got friends who are working over there.
There's some good people there. Sure.
I think there's people who are good hiring choices. But, you know, you'll be looking for a job in 2 years because your leadership's going to fuck you up. So, whatever.
I definitely would echo the sentiment that, like, at the end of the day, no matter what people think of this content, there has to be something real and something that matters about it. As you say, like, basically, someone competent has to be behind it. Because that's one of the areas where there's a quick side tangent, because I'm sure some people are interested in this. When you say about documentaries, etc., obviously, I have my beef with the Score Esports, because if people don't know, I thought they just did, you know, the odd video where I was in it, because I don't watch their content, you know, I'm doing my own content. And when I just asked fans, literally curious, by the way, just how many have they done? Some fan, thanks thankfully there's nutters out there on the internet. Some fan just compiled, and I'm not joking, there was like 100+ instances. Sometimes they'd take one interview and make 3-4 videos and just collectively use like 10 minutes of an interview. 10 minutes is an interview for some people. Yep. You can't just take my whole content. By the way, they weren't talking over it. They weren't crafting. They would just show the clip. And I know for a fact, by the way, YouTube, if they don't like you, they'll take your shit down for that. That is called not fair use if you just show a clip with no context around it, right? But the reason why I was annoyed was this, because a lot of people might not know, I'm generally very free with my content. Like if you're just a guy out, say for example, everyone's seen him, you're one of those CSGO movie makers who wants to be, you don't just want to show the frags of Simple, you want it to be epic, so you take me from some video 4 years ago, like, he's the greatest new prodigy we've ever seen, and you put that over it, right? Go and do it. As long as you're not an arsehole, it sounds cool. Sounds like a great way to remix what I'm doing. The problem I had with what the Score Esports was doing was they weren't remixing it. They were just taking my stuff. And what they were doing, Richard, was, even though I'm sure a lot of their casual fans would watch any video that was about that player, right? But they were getting to have an element of credibility by having my real storyline or actual reportage over the years in their video. Even though, by the way, I was no part of it, never consulted. And this is the kicker that really just blew me over the edge. They also, many of their people openly disrespected me, including in the content that they were stealing my clips from. So, like, yeah, I agree with that sentiment entirely. What they were doing there, by the way, was that was essentially an admission that they couldn't make the video and have it have the same meaning. They could get the same number of hits. Like I say, I think the people on YouTube would click on anything. But they couldn't have the same gravitas of like, look, we've got the talking head who was there at the time and here he is saying it. Because at the end of the day, by the way, it's like you say about getting there first. There's no problem, by the way. If you are a site like that and you want to make those videos, just do what I'd have to do. Go and fucking either live it so you can be the talking head, or go get the talking head. Ask Richard to do an interview with you on a topic he does. Ask fucking anyone who it is. Like, but you don't just get to take my video and have me be it as though I like agreed to be the talking head. Like, that ain't going to pass. So just thought I'd throw that out there. But here's how
but also I'll add to that point. Like, you know, one of the reasons why I'll never forgive the fucking Score for what they did, apart from the fact that it's shallow, surface level shite that they serve up, and they've made millions off that. They have a lot, you know, down the years. It's the fact that you didn't even have the fucking courtesy to come to me once.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like, and then you have the audacity in the clips. You go with courtesy. No, never with courtesy, motherfucker. Yes. That's my work, my sweat, my original reporting, right? And you're making probably more off of it than what I fucking did. And you don't even have the sack to just as a human to come to me and go, oh, we're making this video. Is it okay if we use this clip? Because I'd tell you yes. Right, but the fact that they have done it for years, and then, like, say, with courtesy, like, no, there's no courtesy. I think you are the journalistic equivalent of carrion. You are vultures picking at the bones of animals that were fucking far more noble than you. So, no, fuck those guys forever. And, you know, the good news is everyone's recognizing what the Score actually
just see that as a turning, just slowly, you know. Like I say, listen, the kind of kid who's a 14-year-old Fortnite COD type fan who's just on YouTube, he's never going to know, so he's just going to click the video. I get it. But I actually do think the industry is sort of starting to wise up a little bit. I've noticed some fans have noticed that. Yeah,
and like I said, that, you know, that Colin McNeil guy, he's at that upcoming now as well. It's like, mate, like, you know, it's just have, you know, I'm not asking for, like, come kiss the ring, fucking none of that. Just have a bit of fucking respect. Just have a bit of respect. Like, if you want me to respect you and what you do when it's derivative shite, right? Like, and you can't pay me respect for what I've done. Like, nah, fuck that. I mean, that's why I made that joke when he was, he tweeted about his wedding.
Oh, the one about his wedding, yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah, I said, like, he's going to edit together a best man speech with me and Thorin in it, you know. But it's just ridiculous. It's just absurd. It's like, just do something original. Do something of value. Do, you know, what they do isn't documentaries. You're never going to get the untold story from what they do. They literally take stuff that's already in the public domain and condense it into 10 minutes for people with fucking limited attention spans, and they slap a bunch of ads over it and they call that work. Nah. No, you got to work harder for me if you want to get my respect. And like I said, the fact that I'm in a ton of your fucking videos and you're making money off my content and my reporting, and you've never once contacted me about it.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, if people don't know, I actually obviously forgot that because I was talking about my case. Yeah, they obviously did it with Richard's reporting loads. Like, that's where half the fucking info. Like, because here's the other thing. It's logical as to how they did the divide. If it was a narrative piece, obviously it'd be my video talking about it. What they would do for Richard would be, say there was some big scandal, like the team's not paying this person, or wow, this guy says he's going to sue them. The video would be the truth about this, and it's someone who's done zero reportage, and they just took Richard's reporting.
Yeah, they take my reporting and then they interview somebody from that report. And often completely without counterbalance, and so the truth, and it's like, here's what FaZe's CEO says about FaZe lying.
Turns out he says it's not true.
Yeah, exactly. Madness.
Yeah,
so
I know what you mean.
It's like, it's just surface level shit, and it's fast food media for people who don't really want to know what's going on.
Yes,
just want someone to watch for 10 minutes so they feel vaguely informed about some drama.
Perfect way to describe it. Yeah,
it's garbage.